He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind. He is the creator and sustainer.
Hello and welcome to Bedroom Studio Corner. I am XD, and today in this video I'm going to be talking about mastering. I've been getting a lot of requests to do a video on mastering. I use like really big plugins and heavy VSTs, but in this video I'm going to show you how you can also master your songs without needing any external VSTs. And all the stuff I'm going to be using is 100% FL Studio, except for one free plugin that I'm going to show you, and it's just a metering plugin. I'll show you where you can actually download it. So I have only one plugin you need to download. I'm going to put the link in the description so you can get it. But most of the stuff that you basically need to be able to master is 100% FL Studio stock plugins, and you can basically get a master that you can send to radio or upload on digital platforms like iTunes and Spotify and TrackSource as well. So I have a song that I have already shared on my channel. I will put a link to it in the description as well. It's called The Sentient. So that's the song I'm going to use for this example. So if I switch off all the mastering that I have over here on this side, you can hear it's going to sound very different. So that is the mix. That is how it sounds without any mastering on it. If I can put it back, you'll see the difference. That is like a big difference, and it's a big boost. Not that I boosted and changed the way it sounds 100%, but I just toned it and made it a little bit harder, and I kind of enhanced it as well. So it's the things I'm going to be showing you how to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just save a new version of this, and then I am going to just default the track here, my master. So now it's just the mix. So first, to just clarify before we get into what mastering is, I have a video explaining what mastering is, so you can check that. I'm also put a link to it, and then you can see what mastering is, and you can understand what this process I'm about to show you really is. But now I'm going to show you how to actually do it, because in that video I just talk about it, but I don't show you. So firstly, you need to understand that mastering does not change a bad song. So if your song is bad from the mixing stage, mastering is not going to change it. I have a lot of clients that come to me and think that I'm going to do some magic that's going to turn their song into something totally different, of which that it doesn't work like that. It totally does not work like that. Mastering is just enhancing and making sure that your song is as loud as it needs to be in order to be played commercially on radio and online. And nowadays the rules have changed of mastering. You cannot just make your song as loud as you want to, especially when you're going to be uploading it on digital platforms. They are using LUFS nowadays. So I'm going to show you how you can also use that metering system, the new metering system, and I'm going to show you where you can get a free meter to check your LUFS and your loudness, and it's pretty easy. So firstly, if you notice, my track is peaking right here around -9 dB. And another thing is, when you're making your songs, do not add anything on your master. Have your master clean, and you can make your beat or your track and finish it without anything on the master here. That's one mistake people make. They want to start loading stuff on the master track before they finish even making the track, of which that is a problem. Do not even put a limiter on there. Just make your song and put it there, and just make sure you're not peaking over 0, because the mastering game is all about headroom, and you need headroom in order for you to actually do a lot of tweaking in the mastering process. So let's start to master this track. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to select a part where I think most of my instruments are playing, a part where it's like really loud, where everything is playing. So I think I'll choose somewhere around here. I can choose right here by 41. Okay, there we go.
He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind. He is the creator and sustainer.
So firstly, what I want to add is an EQ. EQ is very powerful. People don't understand how EQ is plays a crucial role in mastering and mixing as well. And I actually talk about this in another video. So first, what you want to do is go on the presets here, and you can choose either 30 Hertz plus 18 kilohertz cut, or the 40, but I usually use the 40 because it kind of really cuts out most of the low end that's down there. Anything below 40 you will probably not be able to hear, and because the human ear only hears from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, so you won't be able to hear that unless you have a really good sound system that gives you all that low sounds. So let's just cut 20 hertz here, plus 18 hertz cut. Let's just use that for this instance. So you just put that for safety, just to kind of clean out the edges of your sounds, because some sounds are sneaky. They actually even have frequencies all the way here where we cannot see, and that's going to affect some of your plugins as you're going down. And you must also understand that the order of these plugins is also crucial and important. So you're not just going to be throwing stuff on your rack here just for no reason in any order and think it's just going to work out. That's how also you mess up your mastering and mess up your sound. So firstly, we're just going to cut out sounds that are going to be coming here. So we should make sure that we have a clip. And then next, we're going to add another EQ and just look at the EQ and do a subtle sweep for sounds that are kind of not sounding nice, and just kind of tone the whole sound on its own. So let's just do that quick.
He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind. He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind. He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind. He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown.
I'll turn that one down just a bit.
He is the creator and sustainer.
Let's move on to the next one.
Whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind. He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or
Turn that guy down.
He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind. He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds.
I don't know if you can hear that whistle, but those are actually the frequencies that are whistling. They are very loud, and especially when you're playing your song at like a venue with a big sound system, these frequencies are frequencies that are going to tear your whole mix apart. So in mastering, those are the frequencies we just need to kind of trim out and just kind of lower them a little bit. That's why I see me spiking here. I'm just trying to cut out all these frequencies that are just out of place, that are just kind of sticking out and just not sounding great.
He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds
So you hear that whistle.
or unknown to mankind.
Let's turn that down.
He is the creator and
So you can do the sweep many a times. You can always find frequencies to cut out as much as you want, but it's also good not to overdo it, because you also don't want to take out like some other elements of the track that will be very crucial here, because it's sound design. So some of these sounds are intentionally the way they sound, and if you start to kind of cut them too much, then it's just gonna sound awful.
he is the creator.
So it's all about doing it in a subtle way.
Whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind.
So
He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind. He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known.
I think that is fine.
He is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are
You probably won't notice the difference so much unless you have a really trained ear and you have good set of studio monitors or a good set of headphones as well. But these are the things that make a whole big difference as a whole in your mix. So now we just did a sweep of frequencies. Now next, what we want to do is add a compressor, and this compressor is going to be catching peaks. Now what I mean about peaks is that some sounds kind of go up very sharp when it comes to hats and other percussion. They just shoot up really hard and they're spiky, so we just need to catch those and kind of trim them slightly down with compression. So I'm going to use FL compressor. There we are, Fruity Compressor. Now I'm just gonna play through and I'm just gonna be lowering the threshold a bit. We're peaking around 7 dB, so I'll just put it right there on 8. Then I'm just gonna lift the ratio a bit. Add a lot of it, then bring it back down. Maybe 2.4. And give it a quick attack. And give it a quick release as well, because I just wanted to catch them, bring them down, and then leave it alone. Just slightly like that. Then what I want to do after this is I want to add a multi-band compressor. In actual fact, let me not use the Fruity multi-band. I'll use Maximus, because Maximus is also a multi-band compressor, just like the Fruity one. So we've got the lows, the mids, and the highs here. So what you want to do is you want to solo them, and then you can play through so you can select your channels. And you want to right click over here so you can switch to this side. And you can see there. And I don't know if you can hear this, the bass that's playing right now, but there we go. If I can just move it over here so I can choose from which frequency is my lows, is my bass channel. So here it is. Then I can actually raise it. So at this point, I'm not trying to compress the bass, but what I would want to do is kind of have everything that's playing in my bass, the kick and the bass itself, and kind of turn down the stereo separation on this knob over here, all the way down. Okay, to 100% merged, because 100% separated makes it wide, but then merged makes it one. So everything that's going under 100 hertz down, all that bass is now mono. It's not gonna go stereo. So that's just a nice safety net to catch all your lows, so that it's just playing in the sub only. So now that that's done, let's go to the mids. And then with these, we can just slightly move them a bit, separate them a bit, because we have a lot of strings there and voices and stuff. Like you can hear that voice that's talking right now. And we can raise that a bit. So now we're starting to actually lift our volume and our gain over here. So then we go to the highs. Erase that. And then we can give these guys a bit of more separation. If you're listening to this in headphones, you can actually hear as I separate that the sounds are kind of widening a bit more. And then what we can do is we can compress a little bit and just lower the attack over here and the release and just give it a bit more sustain. Now this is pre and post the gain. So this pre-gain is before all this compression and EQ is done, and the post is the compression that you have done, the volume after the effect is put in. So I can lower that over there and raise the compression. If I play it all together, you can switch this off. You can hear the difference.
the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown.
That sounds very great. Sounds very good. And then you can just tweak. You can just tweak the bands a bit. And you can see we're already heading up to 0 dB, but we're not yet on 0 dB. So now we just have to reach the goal here, that's 0 dB. So now what I can do is I can add a limiter over here so that we can give it a bit of saturation and a bit of gain so we can go to 0. So what you would want to do at this point is kind of add a meter to check how loud you're going. So I'm gonna add Loudness Meter. So this is the meter that I wanted to show you that you can download for free. There's a link in the description where you can get this for free. It's not for sale, it's for free use. So if I start to play it, you can see here it says LUFS and it's minus 15 LUFS. So what we want to do is we want to check that and make sure that it's not at least above minus 6 LUFS. But for now, let's just add a bit more volume so we can get to the 0 here, the mark. Anything above 0 is distorted and is clipped. So that's just a basic rule to know that anything above that goes above 0, any sound is distorted, and you do not want that. Let's give it a bit of saturation. It's like 5 dBs of saturation. And the limiter ceiling is where it's gonna clip out the sound. So I like to just put it on minus 0.1, just to give it that 1 decibel short, instead of just putting it on 0.0. So then just with a little bit of saturation here, and give it a little bit of gain, but not totally destroying the track. You can see it's mostly limiting the kick, because that's the loudest and most dominant sound in the mix. And if you can see, our loudness meter is saying that we're at least minus 9 LUFS. I can actually turn up the limiter more, and you can see it's now around 8. So basically that's mastering. Basically at this point you have your song as loud as you can be. You can actually hear that it's really loud around about now, and you can still do a lot more EQing after this. Like maybe before the limiter here, you can do maybe a bit more EQing just to kind of tone it a little bit more. Like maybe I would lower those highs a bit, just boost around here a bit, just to give more punch in the bass, and lower a bit of those mids. If I can switch all of this off, you can hear the big difference that this mastering just did. And if I put it back on, you can hear it's nice and loud and very clear. So basically, that's mastering. I hope you find this helpful. I hope to shed some light on mastering and how you can easily master with FL Studio plugins. You don't need any big plugins to master. You know, as a beginner, you just need FL Studio plugins. It's fully equipped with stuff for you to get your sounds right and sounding perfect. So when I'm mastering, I use a lot of other things. There's a lot of other factors that come in, but that's more advanced. We're gonna get into those in a future video. But for now, I just want you to have the baseline on mastering, and you know, not to confuse you with big words and big plugins that you know feel like you will never have. But just the basic stuff that is in FL Studio is good enough for you to have a master that you can put online and take to even radio and publish commercially. The Ulean Loudness Meter I spoke about, the link is in the description. You can check that out. If you don't have my new sample pack, it's also in the description. And what I think I'm gonna do, if you have FL Studio 20, I am gonna save for you a copy of this preset that I just did of this master, so you can actually see what I was doing and you can actually put it on your track and kind of play around with it. So with mastering, you can't just load a preset and expect it to sound exactly like how mine sounded. It will sound differently because we mixed our songs differently. If you see my mix here, most of my stuff is on low. I lowered all these volumes because it's not about being loud. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. And I'm gonna check you guys in the next video. I'm X and I'm out. Peace.